Let's talk about gaslighting for a second, since it and narcissism are like the two biggest buzzwords ever on social media. The dictionary definition of gaslighting is to psychologically manipulate someone for your own benefit or to make someone question their reality. Now think of a little kid. When we come into the world, we're pretty present, we're pretty in the moment, joyful or fussing, we're emotionally available, right? We're not repressed yet. And then around ages 2, 3, 4, the conditioning really starts to ramp up and we start learning more and more about ourselves and about other people and about the world, and we take on these beliefs. And they could be as simple as that's mom, that's dad, I'm Dan. I remember as a really young kid learning that I was Dan and having to tell people, and having it feel really awkward. People would ask me, hey, what's your name? And I'd say, Dan. So they tell me. But then as we get a little older and we start accumulating more experiences and having our traumas and encountering other people that are in pain, we start taking on more painful beliefs, deeper ones. This is what psychologists would call core beliefs, like I'm not good enough, or I'm unwanted, or I'm unsafe. So back to gaslighting. You could look at all of this, believing that I'm Dan, or I'm unwanted, or the world is unsafe, or whatever the belief is, as a denial of my original reality of presence. So by believing anything about myself or others or the world that causes pain, I've been innocently gaslit into suffering and repression. Now, here's where it can get confusing, so I want to be really clear. In our work, Natural Recovery from Suffering, we want to reverse the process that I just talked about. So we want to challenge and question the painful beliefs and deficiency stories and worldviews that drive our suffering. We are denying our reality of suffering. We are gaslighting ourselves out of suffering. And just like the alcoholic or the addict, people will only do this when they have had enough of their suffering. Because remember, the suffering and the repression is keeping us safe and it's getting us love. It's a drug. And it's funny to watch people who come into the work early on who might not be quite ready for it yet, or who haven't suffered enough to become willing to gaslight themselves yet. And they feel gaslit by us just introducing the work to them. Just saying, hey, this is about challenging your beliefs. And we watch people sort of get half triggered and half baffled when we say, we don't have any opinion on whether or not you should stop suffering. If you need to keep suffering genuinely, go do that. Don't do this work. See, we don't want to fuck with your reality unless you're at a place where you want to start fucking with your reality to get free. Unless you want to start gaslighting yourself out of suffering. If you're at that place, visit repressiontest.com.